Hey everyone, my name is Riley and this video is a step-by-step tutorial on how you can build a hotel booking website. This tutorial is going to allow you to create any type of hotel booking website that you like. From a winter and ski resort, a bed and breakfast, a beach hotel, apartment hotel, or even a hotel on a tropical island. With each of these websites, we have this search bar where people can search the specific date they are looking to book, as well as how many people are coming on the trip. The website will then show them the best rooms that are tailored to them, and then they can go through and purchase booking through the website. You can infinitely customize this website and add different pages for if you have a spa, a restaurant, or any other pages you might want to add to your site. This video is a complete step-by-step guide, so even if you have never built a website before, all you have to do is follow along with this tutorial and you will walk away with a beautiful and professional hotel booking website. So the very first thing that we need to do is buy hosting. I have tried so many different hosting providers over the years, and by far the best one that I have found is Hostingo. Not only is this the best one that I have found, but if you use the top link in the description of this video, you can get up to 75% off all of your hosting. Once you have clicked on that link, that is going to take you over to this page right here, and this is where we can get our hosting. Now, as I said, you can get up to 75% off your hosting. So all we need to do to claim this is click on Claim Deal right here. It's then going to give us three options. We have the premium, the business, and the cloud startup plans to choose from. And the one that I would recommend is going to be this business plan right here. The reason is because we will be using quite a substantial plugin in order to create this website. And what I have found is this premium plan right here, when we add in the plugin that we need to install, and then add in images and videos and all of the other media that we need for this website, this standard performance really starts to struggle. Whereas with the business, we get an increased performance up to 5x. And with Cloud Startup, we do get up to 10x. But I have tested all of these in the past, and I haven't really noticed a difference between the business and the cloud startup in how fast the website loads and all of the other features. The second reason that the business is going to be a lot better is for this storage right here. Now, chances are you actually won't go over the 100 gigabytes regardless, but the thing that we need is this NVMe storage. This essentially just means that the media and everything else on the website is going to load faster. So this is something that is needed as well. So all we have to do is go to business right here and click add to cart. And it's going to take us over to this page where we can now choose a period. So we have four different options. We have the monthly, 12 months, 24 months, and 48 months. And realistically, any of these three are a good choice. The only one I wouldn't recommend is this monthly plan right here. And the reason is because over the space of even 1 year, it's a lot more expensive. As you can see, it's pretty much $14 per month, and we have a $4.99 setup fee. On top of this, we don't even get a free domain. So we would be paying $35 in just the first month to get the domain, to get the setup fee. And then after that, we pay $14 per month after. Whereas even with the 12-month plan, all we would pay is, including tax, it depends on your tax rate, but $71, and we get everything. So no setup fee, hosting for an entire year, and this free domain. You can also go with the 24 or 48 months if you know for a fact that you will have your website for 2 to 4 years. But in this tutorial, I'm just going to select the 12-month plan. Then we can go down, and right here it says create your account. So all you have to do is enter in your email address, and then you can create a Hostingo password. Once that is done, we then want to go down, and you can choose from any of these options to pay for this hosting, and then enter in your payment information. So that is exactly what I am going to do right now. This is then going to redirect us to the control panel, so it may take a few seconds here. And just like that, it's going to load in. So from here, just click on Start Now, and then it's going to ask who are you creating the website for. So you can choose whether you are creating this website for yourself, which I'm assuming you are, but you can also choose if you are creating it for somebody else. So I'm just going to say I'm creating this for myself, and then we want to choose here, I'm building it myself. It's then going to ask what type of website do you want to build? And of course, we are going to click on portfolio. And then it's going to say, do you need help building your website? So right here, just click on no thanks, I know what I'm doing, as you will be able to follow this tutorial. This next screen is going to ask us if we want to create or migrate a website. Now, website migration is if you have a website with another hosting provider that you want to transfer over to Hostinger. This is not what we are doing. Of course, we are creating a new website. So let's go ahead and click into this. Next, it's going to ask if we want to build the website with the Hostinger AI or WordPress. Now, I've used this in the past and it's not the best website builder. So of course, we are going to go with WordPress right here. Let's go for select. And now it's going to ask us to create login details for WordPress. So at the top here, just select the language. Usually it will be auto-selected. Then the administrator email is automatically going to be selected as the email you created your Hostinger account with. So once again, we just want to leave this as it is. And then we can go ahead and create our administrator password for WordPress. Once that has been entered, we can click on continue right here. And it's going to ask us if we want to add any of these plugins. Now, I do not recommend adding any of these. It's like when you get a new phone or a new laptop or computer and it comes with a bunch of pre-installed apps that you don't really want. Effectively, these plugins will pay Hostinger to automatically put them in. However, having all of these just slows down the website, and the majority of these we don't need. So for these plugins, just click on skip. I will manage plugins later. And it's now going to ask us which template we want to use. So on this screen, just click skip. I don't need a template here at the bottom. It's then going to ask to automate text creation with AI. Once again, we will sort out all of the content creation and everything that we need when we can actually see the website and we can see what we are doing. So let's click on skip. I will write content later. And right here, we now get to name the website. So if you went with the yearly plan, which I recommended, we can now go ahead and claim a free domain. So right here, we want to click on select. And under here, we can choose a desired domain. Now, if you went with the monthly plan, you can also go ahead and buy a domain here. But let's go ahead and claim a free domain. Now, before we even enter the name of the domain, if we go to the end here, we can choose what kind of domain this is. Now, the only type of domain that we want here is a .com domain. So click this drop-down menu and then select .com right here. I'm just going to call this GeForce North, and we can see this domain is available. So once you have found your domain, just click on continue right here. And then it's going to ask for a few more details. So we just enter in the country, whether this is personal or company. It doesn't really matter what you select here. Then we can click next step. And then it's just going to ask for some contact details. Once this is entered, we can click on finish registration, and that is going to connect the domain to your website. And as you can see, this is now going to register that domain. We are going to get final confirmation right here with your domain. So just make sure this is correct and it has the .com domain, and then click on finish setup. It's then going to initialize setup. So once again, this may take a few seconds. And just like that, it says, well done, you are ready. So we can now either go to the control panel or edit the website with WordPress. Now, the first thing that we want to do is just go to the control panel. There is a few settings that we need to tweak here. So just go into manage site. And then the first thing that we need to do is just to make sure that we have SSL protection. Now, SSL, if I go up here, is, as you can see, the connection for Hostinger is secure. And this is the SSL certificate right here. Now, what this means is if you do not have SSL certificate on your own website, when people try to access your website, it's going to give them a message that looks like this. So it is super important that we make sure this is on. Now, all Hostinger domains and hosting comes with free SSL. We just need to make sure this is enabled. So go over to security on this left-hand side, and then down here to SSL. As you can see, we have lifetime SSL and the status is active. If for whatever reason it's not active, you can click on these three dots and then just go ahead and activate it over here. Once we have checked SSL and made sure that is turned on and secured, the next thing that we need to do is verify the email for your domain. So if we just go back to the main dashboard right here on the left hand side, you can see that the domain is active right now. However, if we click into manage right here, you can see it says your domain is pending verification. So if you just go over to the email that you signed up for Hostinger with, you should have an email that looks just like this. So all we need to do is click on this link right here. Go ahead and open that up. And then as you can see, the email address has been verified successfully. So if we now close both of these down and hit refresh, you can see the email verification status is now verified and we now have the email good to go. So if we now go back over to the main Hostinger dashboard right here, and then as you can see at the top, we have the admin panel for WordPress. So we just want to go ahead and click into this, and this is now going to take us over to the WordPress admin area. So now we are inside of WordPress and we have this installed. The first thing that we are going to do is just make this WordPress dashboard extremely easy to navigate back to. So the way that we do this is by bookmarking this WordPress dashboard. And although we could just go ahead right now and bookmark this, there is a much better way to do this. So all we are going to do is go over to the dashboard on this left-hand side. And then right here at the top, you should see it says yourdomain.com/WordPress or wp-admin/index.php. Now in this URL, we just want to go in and delete index.php, click the backspace and then enter. And this is just going to refresh that page, but we now have this updated and shorter domain. So this is the domain that we now want to bookmark. So all we have to do is go up to this right-hand corner and then bookmark this tab right here. Just like that, this WordPress dashboard is now bookmarked. So if we open up a new tab, we can see that right there. So we can click back and in just 2 clicks now, all we have to do is open a new tab, then go back to WordPress. We can now easily navigate back to the WordPress dashboard at any time. Now, the next thing that we need to do is actually install the plugin or the theme that is going to do most of the heavy lifting for us when creating this website. So go down to the description of this video and click on the link that says Hotel Booking Theme. Once you do that, it's going to take you over to this area right here, and this is the theme that we need. So make sure this is on the regular license. This is the one that we need, not this extended license right here. This is super expensive. So just this regular license and then click on add to cart. Now it's also going to ask if you want to extend support to 12 months. You can if you want to, but I never do. And then we can click go to checkout. From here, we then need to enter in the payment information and then click on Pay Securely to buy this theme. Once you have bought the theme, it's then going to take you over to this order confirmation page, and we can see at the bottom, it shows us the theme that we have just bought. Now, this green button that they give us right here, this green download button, if we were to just download this one and then try to upload this to WordPress, for some reason, it just doesn't work. So instead, we now need to go to the email that you used when purchasing the theme, and you should have an email that looks like this. It says your theme forest purchase confirmation, and then we can see an order confirmation right here. So you can see your order and we have this green button that says My Downloads. So just go ahead and click into this. And then it's going to take us over to this area where you should now see the theme that you just purchased. So it's this one right here. It says Hotel Booking WordPress. And then all we need to do is click download. And then click this one, installable WordPress file only. So we can now install this. And this is the exact one that we need. When we actually install this into WordPress, this one is actually going to work. So what we can now do is close down all of these other tabs, go back over to the WordPress dashboard. And then once you are on the WordPress dashboard, all we are going to do is go over to this menu on the left-hand side and click into Appearance. This is going to take us over to the WordPress themes area. And right at the top, you should see this button that says Add New Theme. So click into this. And then we can now click on Upload Theme at the top. And in here, it's now going to ask us to select a file. So click on Choose File. And then all we are going to do is upload the file that we just downloaded. So we can drop that in and then click on Install Now. And just like that, that theme is now going to install. So it says theme installed successfully. So from here, just click on this activate button. It's then going to take us over to this area. So with these pop-ups at the side, we just want to dismiss both of these. And right here, it's going to ask for a purchase code. So before we can even go in and install the rest of these plugins that come with the theme, we first of all need to prove that we actually bought this theme. And we do this by entering in the purchase code. So to get the purchase code, you want to come back over to that same email, the same email that we used a minute ago. And then once again, click into My Downloads. Then on this area, we once again want to click on Download on the theme that we just installed. But this time, we want to go for License Certificate and Purchase Code. Now, you can do this in either the text or PDF format, but I just prefer to get this as a PDF. So we can click on Install, and then right here, this is now going to install. So we can open this up, and this is now going to open up the PDF. And if we look right here, we have the item purchase code. So all we are going to do is highlight this right here. Then we can copy, go back over to WordPress, paste this in right here, and then click register. Just like that, it will now say your product is registered. So once again, let's close down all of these other tabs to keep things nice and simple. So now that we have proved that we actually purchased this theme, we can now go ahead and install all of the plugins that are going to come with this theme. So to do this, we just want to scroll back up to the top. And in this big reminder right here, this big pop-up at the top, you should see this option that says Begin Installing Plugins. So let's click into that. And then you can see we have 20 different plugins that we need to install for this theme. Now, because we have so many, you can probably understand now why I recommended that business plan for the hosting rather than the starter, because this is a fair few plugins right here. But all we need to do is go to this top section, then click on this bulk actions box and change this to install. Then we can click on this check mark right here next to plugin at the top, and that's going to automatically highlight all of the different plugins that we need. So from here, we can click on apply, and that's going to just install all of these plugins in bulk. So this might take a few seconds whilst it installs all 20. And once they have all been installed, you should get a message at the bottom that looks like this and says all plugins installed and activated successfully. So we can then click on return to dashboard. And when we do this, you should notice a big change on this left-hand side. So now we have all of those plugins installed, and we now have a lot of different customizability and a lot of different things that we can do with this theme. So once we have set that all up, we have now installed the theme that we need. The next thing that we can do is actually choose the main template, the main thing that is going to act as like the building block for our website. So to choose this, go up to the top and click into theme setting right here. And then this is going to take us to the theme setting area. From here, we want to go down this left-hand menu and click on Import Demo, and then click on this blue button right here that says Begin Importing Demo Process. As soon as we click on this, this is now going to take us over to this screen where we can choose from all of these different templates which one we want to use on the website. Now, when choosing a template, something important I want to add here is really don't pay attention to what these templates are built for. So, for example, let's say that you have a winter and ski resort. Don't automatically just go with this template because that's what it says right here. All of these templates are completely customizable to absolutely any kind of hotel. So just go for the one that looks the best and you think would work the best with your business. You can also click on Preview Demo, and this is going to open up this template in a new tab so that you can fully scroll through and see what this template actually looks like in all of its glory. So we can see this one right here, and then I'll back out of this. Then we can take a look at, let's go for this one. We can see what this one looks like. And all of these templates are absolutely beautiful. So it really doesn't matter which template you go for, but just choose one of these that you want to use on your website. So I'm just going to go for this theme right here. So I can just click on Import Demo. And then we can go down and click on Continue and Import. And that demo is going to import. So it may take a few seconds here, but once that is installed, we can then click on Visit Site. And it's now going to take us over to our website that now has that theme installed. So you can scroll through and take a look at the website once again. But the most important thing that we need to do here is actually go in and start making changes to the website so that we can customize this in the exact way that you want to. So to do this, we need to go into the editor, and to get access to this editor, come up to this bar along the top and click this option that says Edit with Elementor. That is then going to load in the Elementor editor, so we can just exit out of this notification. And then before I take you through step by step and we go through this and customize this together, I first of all want to give you a brief overview into exactly how Elementor works. So the first thing that we need to notice is over here on the right hand side, we have this navigator. Now, for 99% of people, that is going to be there automatically. However, I have built websites before where I've gone into the Elementor editor and for whatever reason, the navigator isn't there. So if you fall into this category, all you need to do to get to the navigator is go down to this option in the bottom left corner. It kind of looks like paper stacked on top of each other, and it says navigator. So just go ahead and click on this, and that will open up the navigator on this right hand side. Now, the navigator right here essentially shows us that this entire website is made up of these different sections. So if I click into this top section right here, the top section on the website is now going to be highlighted. So this top section is everything between this pink line and this pink line. Everything in here is the top section. Then the second section is between this pink line and this pink line. Then the third section is between this pink line and this pink line, and it goes down for the rest of the website. If we go a step further, let's go back to the top. We can click on these little arrows next to each section, and that's going to show us that within this section, this is made up of a column. So we can see the column right here, and everything inside of this column is contained inside this gray box. And then if we open up the column, we get to the final layer of the website, and these are the individual elements that make up the website. So in here, we can see the header, and then we also have this availability search form. So that is the navigator. That's just an overview of how it works. However, it's very rare. There's only certain occasions when we actually have to use the navigator. The main reason for this is because Elementor makes this super simple, and to start changing things around, all we need to do is click onto the element that we want to change, and then the main control panel of Elementor is over here on the left hand side. So you can see if I click into this title, it's going to open up the control panel for this title on the left hand side. So in here we can change the actual title itself, what it says. And then if we go over to style, we can change things like the text color, the text size, the font that this is. And this is the same for every element. So if I go down and click into this element, the availability search form, which is what this is right here, we have the main control panel where we can change everything that we need to over here. The final thing that I want to mention when we are talking about the Elementor editor is you can drag and drop any element that you would like onto your site. The way that we do this is by clicking on these 9 little squares in the top right corner of this section. And then down here, we can scroll and see all of the elements that we can put onto our Elementor website. So for example, we have this progress bar, and then we can simply click and drag this in. Now we can't drag this absolutely anywhere. For example, I can't drag this up here or here. We can only drag this to where this thick pink bar shows up. If I try and drop this in here, it's going to work and drop in. So that's how we can drop elements in. Also, to delete any elements, we can simply click on them. It's going to show us the exact element on the navigator. So all we do is right click on that element and then go down to delete. So that is a super quick summary on the Elementor editor. Once again, if you're still a little bit confused or it doesn't fully make sense yet, don't worry, because I'm going to walk through and edit this website with you step by step. And because of how simple Elementor is, you will pick it up extremely quickly. So the first thing we are going to do, let me just close this section and close this section to make everything neat again, is before we even change this text or anything else, the big thing that screams to me here that needs changing is this background image. So in order to change the background image on the template that you are using, all we need to do is make sure all of these sections are closed down. So these just say sections. If they are open, just click on this arrow and it will send them back up. Click on the very top section of your website right here. And then if we go over to the control panel on the left-hand side, we want to flick this to style. And then in here, you should see the current background image. Now, before we go ahead and change this, we can click into choose image and change it right here. We really have two options. So the first is we can just choose from one of these. This is in the media library. This is all of the images and media that already exist on your website. These are things that came with the template. Or we can go to upload files and upload our own files that we want to add to the website. Now, I would always recommend going with upload files. However, when we do this, there is one important thing to keep in mind, and that is we need to pay attention to the size of this image. Because let's say I just put a random image in here. If it's the wrong dimensions, it's going to get distorted and quite frankly, look terrible. Now, the way that we get around this is actually super easy, because if we click into this image right here and then go back to media library, we can see over here on the right-hand side, we have attachment details, and it shows us the exact dimensions of this image. So we now know that this image is 1440 by 1118 pixels. So we need to make sure that the image we upload is the exact same dimensions. The way that we do this is once again extremely easy, and you want to come over to this website right here called Canva. Now, it is absolutely crucial that you make a Canva account because we will be coming back to Canva many times throughout this tutorial, as it allows us to do a whole array of different things on the website. Now, Canva Pro is usually $15 a month or something around this range. However, if you use the Canva link in the description of this video, you can sign up to Canva for completely free for the first 30 days. So make sure you have the Pro version by using that trial. And then once you are on Canva, we can click on Create a Design in this top right corner. And then from this drop-down menu that opens up, we want to click into Custom Size. Now, the size that we need is 1440 by 1118. So 1440 is already there, 1118. And this is really going to differ depending on the template that you chose. So just make sure that the input is the same as what it says here. Then we can click on Create New Design. And that is going to load us in to this blank Canva template. So in here, this is now where we can go ahead and upload the image that we actually want to upload to the website. And I'm going to change this from a ski resort to like a high-end luxury hotel in a tropical country. So I'm now going to go back to Canva and then go to uploads right here on this left-hand side. We can then click upload files and then drop in the file that we need. So I'm going to drop this in, and then we need to make this the same size. So as you can see, this is completely different dimensions because what we need is like a square. However, this image is like a rectangle. So we can spread this out and then pull this down right here. And you are going to lose like a fair bit of the image to do this, but this is going to look a lot better on the actual website than it would if you just uploaded a random image. Once you have created your image, we can then go up to share, then download, and download this image onto your computer. We now have this ready, and this is now fit to upload to the website. So we can go back over here, then go into image on this left hand side, choose image, and then upload this new file. So we can drop this in, and then once this fully loads in, we want to click on select. And just like that, this is now going to be added to the website. So that is how you can change the big background image right there. And then the next thing that we are going to do is just change the text on the website. So with this one, we have some super simple text right here. It's just literally one line. However, with some of the other templates, you may have 1 or 2 lines that you need to change. Either way, it's extremely easy. All we need to do is click on the text. Then on this left-hand side, we can go over to content. And in this title section, we want to change the title right here. So you can type whatever you want in here. We can just go backspace and then type out whatever. However, I actually really like what it says. Escape to elegance. I feel like this really fits the website. So I'm going to leave this exactly how it is. The second thing that we can do is actually go over to style on this left-hand side and change the typography. So we can click into this pencil icon. And then right here under family, we can see all of the different font styles that we have, and we can change across all of these different fonts. So you can choose your font right here. I'm actually going to go back. Once again, I think this font looks fantastic, but we can change the size of this, how big this is. We can also change some other things down here. And what I would recommend is just playing around in the style section to see what really fits your website and if there is anything that you want to update. So that is how we can change the text. Then we can move down and we have this section right here, which is the availability search form. Now, for pretty much every booking website out there, you are going to want this right here on the homepage. If you already have this and you don't want this though, all we have to do is click on this. Then it's going to open up and show us it highlighted on the right hand side. So all we have to do is right click on this and then delete it like that. However, I know with some of the other templates that you might want this, but it's not there. So to actually get this, all we have to do is go over to this left hand side, click on these 9 dots in the top right corner. So we are taken over to this screen. And then all we are going to do in search widget is search for availability search form. So once you see this, just drag this into your website, wherever you want to place it. Let's say I want to place one here. I can drop that in, and now that is right there. Now, of course, this looks very different because this one is going to have different settings. So if you don't like how this looks right now and the way this is laid out, then we can go over to style. Then the label color, right now this is set to black. So it's like, this is the label color. You can see it in white right there, but we can't see the black. So we can change this to whatever color we want, like red, or of course white looks best. Then we can go down to input and change some of the other things right here. So we have the input font color, placeholder font color, background color, and border color. So with the font color, the placeholder font color, if we change this to white, it is going to temporarily go away. We can't see this. Then the background color, for these, this is like kind of, it doesn't exist. It's not there. So you can either change this to like a random color, or what I think looks best is if we go down to this slider along the bottom and turn it down, it's going to look exactly how these do. Then to actually get this white border, we want to go to the input border color and make this white. And this already looks pretty similar. The only thing is this search button, which maybe even looks better in black, I'll be honest. But what we can do is go to change this, and then we can change the background color right here to nothing, just like that. Or even, I think this has a little bit of color to it. So we could turn it up maybe just like this. Set this to white. And then as you can see, it's just basically a game of playing around with this and seeing what fits with your website. So that's how you can add and change around this availability search form. So I'm just going to delete this top one and leave the bottom one, of course. And that is the top section. Now, as I said, for like different templates, it is going to be slightly different. However, from everything that I've explained, you should now be able to easily edit this top section on whichever theme you chose. If we scroll down, we can then see this next section right here. And once again, this is the exact same as how we just edited the header. So we can click into this text right here, and we can change this to say whatever we want. So right now this says winter special offer. As I've changed this to like a tropical, luxurious website, this now doesn't fit at all. So I'm going to go in here and say, book a stay in our 5-star hotels, just like that. And then once again, if you want to change the font or anything like that, we can do this over in the style section. However, I think this looks pretty cool. Then we can go down, and if you want to change this text, once again, we do this over on the left-hand side. You can change all of that. And then most importantly is going to be this image. Now, for images that you find on your website, and this actually gives us a fantastic segue into another section right here. So I was going to show you how we can update images, but a problem that I'm noticing here is if I click on this, it's not giving us the image. As you can see, it's actually selecting a spacer that's on top of this. So if you run into an issue like this, where the element you're trying to get to is not being selected, then all we are going to do is go to the right-hand side and click through until we find this. So if I go down, let's try all of these. Let's try the column, and we can now see that this element is highlighted. So if we now go into style, we can see the image, and this is where we can update that image. Once again, when updating images on your website, you want to make sure they are the exact size of the image that you are replacing. So with this one, we can click in and see this is 1152 by 1440 pixels. So once again, we will go back over to Canva, then we can go home, create design, custom size, and this was 1152 by 1440. So we will go 1152 by 1440, create new design. Then we can once again go to uploads, upload this file, and we can then drop this in once this is fully loaded. And then we just need to go ahead and rearrange this just like that. Perfect. Then from here, we can go share, download, and download this image. Then if I go back over to my website, I can then upload this image in there. And then once that has loaded in, we can click on select, and that image is now going to be dropped in. So the rest of the website, I'm just looking down here. Is there anything else we need for now? So we can change all of this. Now, when it comes to the rooms, that is the next section that we will talk about, adding rooms to your website. But the rest of this right here is pretty much going to be all the exact same way as we edited the header. So we just click in, change everything over on this left-hand side. And if we want to change the font, the color, anything like that, we can change it using style. So that is how you can change some of the basic text or images on your homepage. However, what you will realize is if we click into certain elements, like this accommodation types carousel, we can't actually change the content inside of this. We can change some of the settings, like how many items it displays or how many posts per page. However, the actual content inside, we can't change. So the next step that we are going to go through is how you can actually set up and add the different rooms to your hotel website. So all we are going to do is click on update, and that's going to save all of the changes on your website, and then click on this eye icon to be taken out of the editor. This is going to take us back over to the main view of the website. And from here, we now want to go and get back to the WordPress dashboard. So we have two options to do this. The first is we can either click on this WordPress button right here, or secondly, we can open up a new tab and go back to the bookmark that we created earlier. Then I'm going to close all of these other tabs. And from here, to add in the different rooms of your hotel, all we are going to do is go over to the left-hand side menu of the WordPress dashboard and then hover over accommodation. Now in accommodation, we have all of these different settings right here, and we will go through each of these as we go throughout the video. But for now, just click into accommodation. This is going to bring us up with all of the rooms that are currently added that have been imported with your template. And what I would say is don't delete these. What we are instead going to do is, instead of creating these entire pages from scratch, we want to use the templates that are already here, and instead we are just going to customize them. So to do this, let's just go to this top one, whichever the top one you have, and click into this. And this is going to take us into the settings of that room, so we can now go ahead and change these. So I'm going to change this from penthouse to a single suite, just like that. So we've changed the name. Then we can go down, and under accommodations, we have total accommodations and active accommodations. And this is going to show how many of this type of accommodation you have in your hotel. So for example, if I had 10 single suite, then I would want this to say 10 right here. However, we actually need to do this later on, and this is not something that we can change in this screen. So just ignore accommodations for now, even if this is wrong. And then we want to go down and change the capacity. So as this is a single suite, I'm just going to set this to 1 person and then 0 children. Then we can go down and choose the size. So this is in square meters. If you don't want to add this in, if you don't want to have the room size on there, then we can just not even set this to 0. We want this blank. But I'm just going to leave this back at 100. Then we can choose the view. So you can enter this in here. Maybe I will say, beach. Then we can choose the bed type that is in the room. And then we also have available services. So by default, we have breakfast, and it shows the price and the airport transfer. So you can uncheck these for now, but later on, once again, we can't do that in this screen. And we need to set up these services as individual things that we can add in later. So don't worry that this is still a little bit scattered around, because there is a lot of things that we need to put in place to really set this system up. So for now, we can just scroll to the top and click on update. And then we want to go back to accommodation types and then create all of the other accommodation types. So for example, right now I have single suite. Then let's go into resident suite and change this to a couple suite, for example. And then we can go down and change the adults to 2, children to 0. And then once again, we can choose all of this. So maybe this is like 200. We can choose the view and everything that I just showed you how to do. So once all of that is added in and you have all of these suites now updated with exactly the types of suites and accommodation that you have, the next thing that we need to do is actually add in all of the accommodation that you actually have in your hotel. This is going to make it so that when people book a hotel, it's automatically going to calculate which rooms are already booked, which rooms aren't already booked, and it makes it much easier on your end. Now with this section, once we are on accommodations, this is actually where we want to delete everything. So once you are in accommodations, click on this checkmark icon, then go to bulk actions, move to trash, and click apply. Then we need to do the same again on this page. Oh, whoopsie. So select them all, move to trash, apply. Select all, move to trash, and apply. And just keep doing this until no more come, like this. Then once you have all of the accommodations deleted, we then want to go to generate accommodations. Then you can choose exactly how many accommodations you have and the accommodation type. So let's say that for the single suite that I've just set up, we have 25 of these in the hotel. Then for the title, I would recommend just leaving this blank. And if you do this, it will just take the accommodation type name and say like single suite 1, single suite 2, single suite 3, all the way up to 25. So then I can click generate, and those accommodations are now generated. So if I now go back over to accommodations, you can see these are automatically generated right here with all of the accommodations that I have for that single suite. So let's go back to generate accommodations and say that for the couple suite, let's say we have 15 of these. Generate. Those are now generated. And then if we go back to accommodations, you can see the couple suites are now there. So just make sure that you go through and do this to all of the accommodations that you just set up a couple of minutes ago. So I'm going to go for prestige room, set this to like 10, and then I'll be back once I have filled all of these out. So if you followed along, you should have listed all of the different types of accommodations, the different types of rooms that you have at your hotel. And we should now have all of the accommodations set up so that we now have listed each individual room and we now know how many rooms we have for each type of accommodation. So now we have all of that set up. The next thing that we are going to do is go into services right here. And this is where we can set up all of the services that we saw earlier. So earlier on, we could only uncheck these. We couldn't delete these. But now we once again want to go to services, highlight this box, then bulk actions, move to trash, and apply. Then you can add in your own services. So for example, we might want to add in Wi-Fi. So we go to services, add new. I'm just going to call this Wi-Fi, just like that. Then we can go down and choose a price. So let's say this is $10 per day. Then we can choose the charge per accommodation or per guest. So let's say this is per accommodation. This is going to be charged for the Wi-Fi. Under allow comments, we want to turn this off and then go to publish. That is then going to be added in as a service. So if we now go back to services, that is going to be added in right there. Then maybe as a second service, we can add this in and say this is like drinks all inclusive, like this. And this is going to be a lot more expensive. So once again, turn comments off. And let's say for all inclusive drinks, this is $150 per day, per guest, like that. And then we have set that all up. So once you have set these services up, at this point, we can now go back into accommodation types that we set up earlier, and we can add these services to each room. So if we click back in, we can then go down to the services, and then we can see the available services are right here. So let's say these are both available for this room. Then we can go up and click update. Then back to accommodation types. Do this for the second one. So we go down, add these available services and go update. And then we want to do this for each of the other rooms until all of them have these selected services that you want them to have. So once that is added in, let's see some of the other settings that we can use under accommodations. So for categories, I wouldn't recommend adding these in. The same for tags. And then amenities, you would think that we actually really need to add on this screen. Of course, we want to show all of the different amenities that come with each room. However, the way that I prefer to set this up and the way that it's done by default with this template is they are just listed on the page and we don't need to set this up in the backend. So don't go in here and start setting up amenities. It's really not worth it. Then under rating types, this is another thing that we don't want to touch. Attributes, another thing that we don't want to touch. However, something that we do need to set up is rates. Now, this is where we can set the different prices for all of the different rooms. However, before we go in and adjust the rates, you might also want to set up certain seasons. So depending on what your hotel is, maybe you will have different seasons where you have different prices depending on the current season. So in this example, it says at the top, maybe winter 2018 is £120 per night, but as soon as it gets to nearer Christmas, it goes up to 150. So in here, this is where we can actually set up those seasons. So we just have normal season right here. And then let's add, let's say kids summer holidays. So this is like, I don't even know when kids were off school, maybe like July time, I think it is. somewhere around there, maybe July to August. And then we can set the start date to, let's just go the start of July to the end of August, just like that. And then we can click on publish. So we are not setting the prices in this section. All we are doing is setting up the different seasons, and we will change the price later. So once you have all of the seasons set up that you want to add where the prices will change, then we can go down to rates right here. And now this is where we can actually set the different rates for the seasons. So to do this, all we are going to do is click on add new rates at the top, add new. And then let's title this, let's just say single room. Then accommodation type, we are of course going to set to single suite. So actually let's change this to suite. And then once that is set up, we can click on create rate. This is then going to take us through to the section where we can actually create the rate. So we go add new season price and say in normal season, of course we can only get one adult in here because this is a single suite. And we can set this to, let's say $200 per night. Then we can go to add new season price and set this to another season and say that when the kids' summer holidays are on, this is of course going to go up. Let's say this is $250 per night. Then once all of that is set up, once you have all of your rates right here, we can then click on update rate. And if we now go back over to the rates area, that is going to be added in. So we can see the season price right here. And then at any time, if you want to go back in and edit the rate, we simply click on edit. And then this is going to take us over to this section where we can now go back in and edit the rate. Just to show you this again with a bigger room with the room for 2 people, let's go couple suite, title this couples suite, then create rate, add new season price, and then say for this one with 2 adults, this is going to be, let's say $350 per night. And then say in the school holidays, we want to up this to $450. Now, another important thing that I completely forgot to mention that is super useful is you can actually change the pricing depending on how many nights they stay. So what we can do is click on this plus icon and say if they stay for 1 night, it's 300. If they stay for 2, it's also 300. But if they stay for 3 nights, it starts going down a little bit. So this is 280 if they stay 3 nights. 4 nights is the same at 280. Then 5 nights is going to go down to 260. And of course, you want to add like a discounted rate if people are staying long term. So in here, we can see if they stay for 5 nights, it's going to be $260 per night. So once you have set all of the rates up and you have also added different pricing for how long they want to stay, we can then click on update rate. And just like that, that is going to be added in. So that is rate. We don't need to do anything else with that for now. That's automatically going to adjust on the website. And then the final thing that we need to go down and change is this settings. So if we click into settings under accommodation, there are a few important things that you might want to update. So if we go down, we can see booking confirmation right here. We have confirmation mode and we can choose when we want the booking to be confirmed. Now, of course, we want to change this to confirmation upon payment. Then booking confirm page, we want to keep this as it is. Then we can change this right here. So this is the period of time that the customer is given to confirm their booking by email. You can change that if you like. And then we have things like default country on checkout. So this is of course going to affect the currency and things like that. So I'm just going to change this to the US. Then further down, booking cancellation, we want to keep these both as they are. You can also set some maximum search options. So max adult at 30 is quite a lot for a hotel, but it's up to you. You can either put this up or put this down, and that's going to affect what people can search for. Then you can also choose the age of child. So what is the limit that you consider a child? So we could say like 16 is the maximum. Then skip search results. Then what else is important? Currency, we want to set right here. And then there are a few other things that you can go through and change, but those are the main ones right there. So once you have changed everything that you need to on this settings page, we can then click Save Changes. and that is all going to be saved. So those are just the general settings. We will need to come back to this settings area towards the end of the video when we set up things like the payment gateways so your customers can actually pay online, and also some of the back-end email things as well. So that is the settings. And if we now go to the accommodation type, we now have everything on the back end set up in terms of accommodation. However, if we were to now click into this, let's say the single suite, for example, the page that it takes you to will be the room that you set up or the type of rooms that you set up, but it will look nothing like your actual room. So to change this, all we need to do is once again come over here to accommodation types, click into the room that we want to change, and then click on the permalink right here. And then on this page, we want to click on Edit with Elementor. This is where we can go ahead and actually add in the images for the room to show the rooms that you have. So with this one, this is actually the single suite, but right now this says penthouse. So I'm just going to click this text. And then just like we did for the homepage, I'm going to change this to say single suite. So that is the heading right there. And we also want to change this background image. So once again, we click on the top section, go over to style, and then in here, we can choose the image that we want to add in. Very important once again, that we get the dimensions right. So this is 1440 by 998. Let's go back to Canva, create a design, custom size, and set this to 1440 by 998. Then we can click create new design. And then we want to, once again, add in the image of the room. So this is a single suite. So I'm going to add an image in. Now, I realize that this image right here is not accurate. Like, this is definitely not a single room. But this is just for the purposes of example. So we can make sure this fits the entire way. Then share, download, and download this image. Then we want to go back over to the website, upload the file, and then we can drop this in right here. We can then go ahead and add that in. And just like that, this single suite is now added. So one other thing that I do want to mention is with this top section, if when adding in a new image, this text has become less readable, like it's harder to read if it's on a white background, then all you want to do is once again go to this left-hand side, click on background to send this tab up, then go to background overlay. In here, we can then choose the opacity. So maybe you won't even have one. You can set this to black or white, and then we can turn this up. So with white text, we want black overlay. With black text, we would want white overlay. But I'm just going to send this to how it was before. So then we can go down to this next section, and we can type out some text right here. So we would just go in, over on this left-hand side, we can change the text. Then under amenities, so if you remember, I told you not to play around with the amenities earlier, because on this screen right here, this is where we are going to change this. So at the top, we just have some text that says amenities. I'm just going to leave this as it is. And then we can click into this next section. And over on the left-hand side, it's going to show us all of the items that are in here. So this top one, I think it's meant to stand for like 100 square foot, but either way, I'm just going to delete this. Then we have 2 king bed. We can click into this and we can change the text. You can also add an icon next to each one. However, I don't really like the look of this. If you do want to add it, we can click icon library, choose the icon. So I could go for like bed, add this in, and that's going to be added in right there. So you can add icons if you like, but I just prefer to leave these off. Then we can move down to the next one and change what this text says and basically customize this entire thing. Now on my website, I am charging for Wi-Fi, so I would remove this. And then let's say we also want to add in something else that is, let's just say sound system in room. We can add that in right there. Of course, remove the icon. And that is how we can update all the amenities. Then we have these 2 options right here, which is floor plan and book this room. So if you want to keep a floor plan here, of course, you need to upload your own floor plan. So the way that we do this is you want to open up a new tab, then go back to the WordPress dashboard that we bookmarked earlier. Once you are back on the WordPress dashboard, over here on the left hand side, we want to hover over media and then click add new media file. In here, this is now where we can upload your floor plan. So just as an example, I'm just going to upload a random image. I'm going to go for this, just in place of the floor plan. I will upload it to the website and you will see. But you want to upload your floor plan right here. And then once this gets to 100%, we can click into library. And you should be able to see the image that we just uploaded right there. So for you, it should be your floor plan. We can click into this. And then right here on the right hand side, we have a file URL. So just click on copy URL to clipboard. Then we can go back over to the editing section. Make sure the floor plan is selected right here, that you have this selected. Then we can go to link, delete the current link that is in there, and then paste in the link that we just copied. Now, if I click into floor plan, as you can see, the image that I just uploaded is now going to be there. So that's how you can upload your floor plan. Alternatively, if you want to delete this, just once again select the floor plan. Then on the right hand side, we can go to button, right click and delete this. That's then going to delete that button. Then for book this room, this is already going to have a link in. However, if I go and view the website and then click on this button, this is going to take us over to the booking page for this room. However, this is titled as penthouse and we do need to change this. So the way that you can change this is leave this page open right here. So once again, exit out of the editor, then go down and click book this room. Whatever page it opens, leave this right here. Then we want to open a new tab and go back to the WordPress dashboard. And then from here, go to pages on the left hand side and click into all pages. This is going to open up this pages screen and show us all of the pages on the website. And you should have this bunch of pages that says book now. If you don't see these for whatever reason, just go to the search bar and search for book now. And then they will all show up right here. So we can go back to the booking page. We can see this says penthouse. So this is the one that we want to change. So penthouse right here. And there are two things that we need to do. So first of all, we want to hover over this and click on view. And this is going to take us over to that page again. Then click on edit with Elementor here at the top. And then we want to change at the top here where it says penthouse to single suite or whatever your room is called. Then we want to delete this big string of text and you can just have like 2 king bed. You can also write a quick description here. And then once that is added in, click on update and that is now updated. So the second thing that we need to do is click preview changes and that's going to take us back out of the editor. So once again, we can click into the WordPress icon in this top left corner. We are then taken back over to the WordPress dashboard. So once again, head into pages, all pages, and we will search for book now to get back. And then once again, this is still called penthouse. So although the actual page is updated, we still need to update the title of this. So to do this, click into quick edit, and then we can change this from whatever is there to the name of the room that you need. So I'm going to call this single suite. Then the slug. The slug is the exact same as the title, apart from it can't have any spaces or capital letters. So I'm just going to say single suite, just like that, and then update. And then if we now go back to this, if we refresh this, it will say this page doesn't exist because we just changed the URL. So close down this tab. And then on this page right here, we now want to click into view on the one that we just edited. And then copy this title from the top, go back over to the main editor, this editor right here. And then we are going to delete the link that is in here and paste in the new one. Then if we click on update and this eye icon to preview changes, we can then scroll down. And if we click book this room, beautiful. We now have the single suite and this is all congruent. So let's close these other 2 tabs down. We have now sorted all of this out. So let's now scroll down and we can, we can edit these images right here. So we have a gallery right here of images that people can slide along and see a view of this room. So we actually want to go in and of course change these to be updated to your room. So click on this, and then this section at the side is going to open. The first thing that we need to do is go to slides and click into item 1. And then in here, we can upload this first image. Once again, I know I keep hammering on about this, but it's super important. Make sure the image that you get is the same size as this. And we do this by the same Canva method that we have been using the entire video. So all you are going to do is go in there and change image 1, then change image 2, then change image 3. And then if you want to add more images, you can click on add item and then upload more images right here. So that is how you can change this gallery. Then down here, we just have some more text that you can change, some more text right here. We have discover our offers. I think this is a little bit misplaced in my opinion. So I always just click on this, go to the right hand side on this button and just delete this. Then we can go down and we have this section right here. Now, this is like a service carousel. And once again, this is like cool on certain elements of the website, but I do not like to have this on the actual page where we are showing off rooms. So once again, I will just go here and we can either delete this from the top or just delete this on the right hand side. And then if we now click on update and preview changes, this is now updated and this now shows all of the images. Everything is now updated. People can book this room. Maybe you have a floor plan. And that is how you can change each of these individual pages to be updated with your rooms. So let's now go back. And what we want to do is open a new tab. Let's go back to the WordPress dashboard. And from here, you want to do that with all of these. So once again, we go to accommodation, accommodation types. Then you can go down to the next one. So couple suite, for example, we want to click into this, then edit with Elementor. And then you can go back to the next section. So now we are in here and we can edit this again. And you want to follow the exact same steps that we just did. If you want a refresher, then you can just rewind the video and watch that last section. But I want to respect your time, so I'm not going to go through and repeat the exact same things that I just did. So just follow that exact method for each of these accommodation types right here. And you will have all of your accommodation types updated with your images, your videos, and everything else that you need. The final thing that I will mention here when it comes to accommodation types is this thumbnail that is shown on the side. For example, if I go in and view my single suite, this is the screen right here, and this is what the room looks like. However, by default, we are going to have these thumbnails, and these are going to be set to the default content that came with the website. Now, of course, we are going to want to change these because if I'm browsing through this website, I will just show you, and I go to book a room. Let's go down to single room. This is going to be like the default image that it came with. So the way that we fix this is go over to the accommodation that you want to change and click into this. And then over here on the far right hand side, we have this featured image. So we want to click in and then of course change this. Once again, make sure you are getting the dimensions right. Change this in Canva. And then you can upload the image that you want to add in here. And this is going to show up as the thumbnail when people are viewing it on screens such as this. So what we also might want to do here is when we are viewing the website. By the way, you can view your website at any time by simply clicking on this house button or home button in the top left corner of your WordPress dashboard. That will take us over to the website. And on some of these templates, we are by default going to have like this little carousel that shows all of the rooms. Now, if you want to add this in, but you don't have it, then what this is called is accommodation types carousel. So all we would do is search for accommodation types carousel. And then we can drag this in wherever we want to. And as you can see, that is now added in. So let me just delete the one that I just added like this. And we can also edit this. So we can click in and we can choose how many items are displayed. So I can turn this up to like 5 and it's going to show like this. Then we can also go for posts per page, the timer when this scrolls along, and all of that good stuff. So you can choose whether you want this. And then if people come along and when they are actually viewing your website, they click into one of these rooms, they are going to be taken over to this page where they can get more information. And this is, of course, the page that we just set up. So we now have this homepage of your website set up. You know how to edit everything on here. And if people now come to your website and they look for specific rooms, we can scroll down here and they can see all of the rooms. Remember, we just changed this thumbnail. They can see all of the information that we set up earlier. And if they click into this, they will be taken through to the screen that we set up a few minutes ago. And this now looks all nice and branded to your specific hotel. So if we go back to the homepage, it's of course not just a homepage that we want. We want a lot of different pages. Maybe you have a restaurant, maybe you have a spa, maybe you have an About Us page or something along these lines. Either way, how do we go about adding new pages to the website so that you can effectively customize this in any way that you like? So the quickest and easiest way to do this is just by looking up here at the menu you currently have and seeing if there are any of these pages that you actually want on your website. So for mine, a restaurant, a spa, and an Our Rooms page, this is absolutely perfect and I need all of these. So all we are going to do is click through into each page. And although I need this page, there is still some things that need changing. For example, this background image is a big one. But apart from that, this page looks beautiful. So I'm happy with this. All I'm going to do is go in and change this background image. So go to the page, and then if you want this, we can go edit with Elementor. And on here, we can make all of the changes that you want to make. So for example, I can go to this top section, go to style, and then change my image right here. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with all of these, and these look awesome. And then if there is anything else that you want to add to this page, you can add in these elements on the left-hand side. So what you might even want to do is just try some of these out. See what all of these individual elements actually are. See how they work. So maybe we can add like a horizontal gallery maybe, where we have a gallery of all of the rooms. We of course need to add images to this, but you can try everything out and see if there's anything you want to add to these pages. Now, apart from that, once you have finished designing the page, we can just click on update. And as I said, this is the easy option because we already have them in the menu. They are already designed for us. And all we need to do is go in and just make changes. So with this one, we could just edit this text. We could change this image. We could edit all of this information down here. However, how do we add brand new pages to the website that don't yet exist? So in this example, let's say that I want to make a page showing all of the different hotels that we have in different locations. As you can see, I do not currently have this on the website and it just doesn't exist. So the way that I would create this page or any other new page that I want to create is really we have two options to do this. So the first option is to build the entire page from scratch. This is a bit more time intensive, but the way that we do this is by opening up a new tab, then going back to the WordPress dashboard. And then in here, we want to go over to pages on this left-hand side, click on add new page. And then in here, once this new page loads up, we can click on edit with Elementor and just start building the page out right here. So I could add maybe like a heading and say that this is our locations, just like this. And then go down and start building out like a gallery, adding some different elements in here to build out this page. An important thing that I want to mention here as well is when you are building out a new page, you're going to get this title right here, and it can be kind of annoying. So the way that we get rid of this is let's just save this page for now, and then back out. You can see this is going to show up right at the top as a title, but of course we don't want this. So the way that we get rid of this title right here is by opening up a new tab. Then we can go back to the WordPress dashboard. Then go to pages and find this exact page that we just created. So the way that we find this is just by copying this title and then pasting this into the search bar. And that page is going to show up right there. So all we need to do to get rid of this title is go to quick edit. Then we can delete the title, click on update. And if I now refresh this page, as you can see, that title is gone. So that is the first method right there. And as I said, that's more time intensive. It's a little bit trickier. And I would say you need some kind of design skills. But a much easier way to do this is by finding a similar page, and then we can just duplicate this and transform this into a completely different page. So to do this, once again, let's open up a new tab and go to WordPress. But this time I'm going to go to pages, and instead of clicking add new page, let's go to all pages and find a page that looks similar. So all I'm going to do is go through here and just click on view for all of these pages, and then find a page that looks relatively similar. So even this one right here about this hotel, we could easily transform this into a locations page. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. In order to copy this page to duplicate, all we need to do is click into edit with Elementor once we are on the page. Then once we are in the Elementor editor, go to update down here, and we can see right next to the update button, we have save options. So click on this, and then we have this option to save as template. So click on this, and then I'm just going to call this locations page template, and then we can click on save. And as you can see, that has now been added in. So all we need to do is exit out of this, and then just like we did last time, let's create a new page. So we go back to the WordPress dashboard, pages, add a new page, then edit with Elementor. And then all we are going to do with this blank page is right here where it says drag widget here, we can click on this option in the middle. And then once this loads up, go over to my templates, and we can see the template that I just saved. So all we are going to do is click on insert, and then click apply. And just like that, this is now going to be dropped in. So as you can see, we now have that exact page. And all I'm going to do is now change this to locations. So let's title this our locations. Then of course we can change the background image as well. So we just go to the section, style, and then we can change this. And then maybe we can leave this and just say perfect location every time. And then in here we can write a little bit about, we picked all of our hotel locations with you in mind. All of our 5-star resorts are minutes away from beautiful beaches, something like this. Then we can edit this image as well. And then down here, all I'm going to do is remove these sections because I don't want them. And then in here, I'm just going to go for the grid, select the 6, and then I can add an image in here. So let's just say I add an image of, let's just say this is location 1. And then let's add some text as well. So caption, custom caption, and say this is Houston, Texas. It doesn't look like Houston, Texas, but oh well. Then we can go and add another image right here, and we would just do the same thing and list all of these locations. So this is just one example of how you can take an existing page and then redesign this in an entirely different way and really customize this into something else. So this is by far the most effective way of making new pages, is just finding a page that already exists, copying and duplicating it, and then customizing it into something else. So now that you know how you can fully customize your website, we have now created the homepage. We have added in all of the different rooms. You now know how to edit and add different pages. The final thing that we need to do on the front end of the website is change these menus up here to have all of the pages that you want on your site. We of course need to add a logo. And then over here, we also have this big menu that we also need to go ahead and change. So the way that we edit this is by, once again, let's go back to the WordPress dashboard. And I'm actually going to close all of these different tabs because there's a lot here now. So let's close all of these. And then to edit this top header, all we are going to do is on this left-hand side, click into the headers area. And then once this opens up, you can see headers. Then we have 3 options. We have header, header sticky, and header transparent. And just to show you the difference, right now this is a transparent header. As you can see, the background is transparent. But if I scroll down, that's going to change to a different header. So that's what it means by all of these different headers. And we want to go in and edit all of these. So let's start out with the transparent header. Let's click in. And then we are going to click on edit with Elementor. Just like that, we are going to be taken over to this blank page. So don't go in here and start adding elements in, because all we need to do is go to this top section. And as you can see, this header is now customizable. So the first thing we are going to change is the logo. So just click on the logo, and then over here on the left hand side, we can now choose the image that we want to have. So once again, let's check the size of this, choose image, and this is 298 by 182 pixels. And before we actually go and create the logo in this exact dimensions, the first thing that I would recommend doing is just allow Canva to basically create the logo for you. So usually we would go in here, go for custom size and enter this in. However, instead, we want to go create design and then go to logo. Now, the reason that we do this is we will resize this at the end. However, over here on the design section, we have logo templates. So in this example, I'm just going to search for hotel, but you might want to go for like ski resort. Maybe you could try that. And all of these are going to pop up. But once again, I'm just going to say hotel. And then you can see we have some beautiful hotel logos. Now, as this is a high-end hotel, I'm definitely not going to go for this. This looks more like a family hotel. So let's go for this. This looks beautiful. Then we can add this in, and I'm going to change this in the middle to G. And then we can go down and change this text. So I'll say G force north. Just like that, I now have this logo. So before we go ahead and save this, we want to go up to resize and magic switch. Then custom size. We need to set this to 298, 182. So 298, 182, and then continue. And then we can resize this design. Just like that, it's going to resize like this. So all we are going to do is just drag your mouse across all of these. And then we want to resize this so it takes up the entire space. So this goes right from the top to right to the bottom, just like this. Beautiful. And then we can also wiggle this around and make sure this is in the center. So we want to wait until we get this center line right here. And now we have our logo. So now we can click on share, download, and super important with this, make sure you save the logo with a transparent background. Otherwise, we are going to have all of this like background with it. So let's click on download. Then we can go back, upload files, and let's upload this logo. We can then select. And just like that, I now have my logo in here. Now, if I go back, it looks like this is actually white for the transparent background. So whatever color this is right here, make sure for transparent, this is something that I didn't do. I added black text here. So all I'm going to do is go back, and then super simple, I can just change this to white, and then change this to white. Change all these to white right here. And then once all of that is changed to white, we can just save this again, transparent background, and let's upload the new one. So just like that, that looks a lot better. And we now have the logo specifically for just the transparent header. Now, when we create the other ones, we do want this to be black, so I can use the other logo there. But just make sure, like, as I say, it matches up to what it already is. Then we can go over here, and instead of clicking into here, because we will go to that page, click into the pencil icon. Now, what you will notice is this is already set to main menu, and I'm not entirely sure why it's set up this way, but we can't actually edit the individual items that are on this menu directly from here. However, it's super easy to do. So all we are going to do is open up a new tab, then go back to the WordPress dashboard. Once you are here, click into your website using this home button, and then we will be taken over to this main homepage. So all we need to do from here is click on customize. So usually we would click edit with Elementor, but in here we are going to click on customize, and that is going to open up this big customization menu. So all we need to do is go down to menus right here. And then you can see under menus, we have the main menu. So click into this. And then right here, you can see all of the pages that we have in this menu. So anytime you want to add a new page, just click on add items. And then you can add any of your pages from right here. So let's say I want to add in about the hotel. Just click on plus. And anytime you create a new page, I should also mention, it's automatically going to show up here. So All you would do is once you have found your pages that you would like to add them into here. Then we can click on publish. And if I now refresh this, you can see that's now going to show up. So that's how you can add those in right there. Now, what I will also say is if we back out of this, just to show you how this looks, you can see that if we have more than 3 here, it's going to be a bit of an issue in terms of how this looks. This just doesn't look anywhere near as professional. So if you do only have 3 pages that you want to add, then fantastic. This can work very, very well. However, if you have more than 3 pages, then what I would recommend is we can just remove this right here, and then we will use this right here as the main menu area. So to remove this entirely, all we are going to do is go back over to this screen where we can edit the header, and then over on the right hand side, you should see this element that is theme navigation menu. So just right click and delete this, and that will be taken away entirely. Then we also have this search function right here. You can leave this, and basically this is just going to allow people to search for certain areas. So they can go to like about and click search, and they can see like about the hotel, blah, blah, blah. Now, I really don't like this on my website, so I always delete this search bar, right click and delete. We then have this option to translate your page into different languages, which you can do, but it takes a long time to set up. So I'm just not going to cover it in this video. So we just want to go to the icon list and delete. And then the book now button, I will show you what this does as well. It's just going to take us over to the rooms area over here. So once again, this is completely optional if you want to leave this on your website or not. I'm just going to leave this because it doesn't really do any damage. And it also makes this top menu look a lot more symmetrical because we have this menu and we also have book now. So once all of those changes have been saved and you're happy with this, we can click on update. And now if I just go back to the home page and this is all refreshed, you can see that header is now going to update. So we now have the transparent header. Let's back out of this. So we just go here and then exit, and we will be taken back to the headers area. So once again, click on headers. This time we want to go down to header sticky and then edit with Elementor. And that is going to be this one right here. So once again, let's go through and do the exact same thing. So because this background is white, I'm going to click into here and upload my black logo. Then I'm going to delete this section. So I click on the menu, right click and delete. Then I can go over here, the search bar, I want to delete, icon list, delete, and we can leave the button. Then that all looks awesome. So let's click on update. Then once again, let's go back, headers, the main header now, edit with Elementor. And then in here, we want to do the same thing. So because this is black, I'm going to leave this and do the black logo again. Over here, delete this. Then delete, delete. Awesome. Save that. And we now have all of the headers set up. And these all look awesome, the exact way we want them to look. So that is the headers. And we have now sorted out this main navigation menu right here. We will get to this one in a second and add all the pages that you need. But before we do that, we also have this footer right at the bottom. So this right here, you cannot usually edit in the regular editor. So once again, the way that we do this is this time go over to footers on the WordPress dashboard. And then in here, you should see one footer. So once again, let's click on this. Then of course, edit with Elementor. And in here, we can now go ahead and edit the footer. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, of course, change out this logo. Let's go for the black one. Then right here, you can also choose if you want people to sign up to your newsletter. So it depends if you're collecting an email list. If you are, then you can just change this to say whatever you want. However, if not, instead of deleting all of these items individually, we can just go and select the exact column this is in. So we select the column, we can see all of that is highlighted. So right click and delete. Then we can add the address in right here. So you just want to go in. Over on the left hand side, you can edit the address, the phone number, and the contact email. Then over here, we have social media. So if you want to add your social media to your website, or your company's social media, I should say, we can click on these and then make these changes over on the left hand side. So we can click into Facebook, and then all we have to do is in this link button right here, go to your Facebook page and copy the link and then paste it in here. We can do the same for Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So let's just say we want to remove this actually. We can click on X, and as you can see, Twitter is gone. Then if I want to add a different social media, I can go add item, item library, and let's just say Snapchat. Then we can click insert, and that is then going to be added. So all we need to do is add the link down here. Then in this section, because we already have all the menus set out on the header, I would highly recommend just deleting all of this. But before we do, we want this to remain. So what I would recommend doing is once again going to the columns and making sure this is highlighted, and then dragging this down into the section underneath. So drag it onto this section right here. That's then going to be added in. And then we also want to rearrange these. So I'm just going to drag this here between, and then this column that's blank, right click and delete, and that looks a lot better. Then this section, I'm just going to delete like this. Copyright, all rights reserved, and then you want to change this to your name. So I'll say G Force North. And then down here, you can also add in any icons for awards that you have or anything like that. But I'm just going to go through and delete all of these. So I'm going to delete this column and delete this column. And just like that, I now have a much simpler but much more effective footer. So with my footer now done, let's click on update. And that is the header and footer now created. So if we now back out, the next thing that we need to do is edit this big menu right here so that people can easily navigate your website. So the way that we do this is once again on the WordPress dashboard. On the left hand side, go to full screen menus and then click on full screen menus right here. Once again, there should just be one. So full screen menu, click into this and then edit with Elementor. That's then going to take us over to the menu area right here. And this is where we want to add in all of the pages. So if we just click on this top section where all of the information is, we can first of all change the background image for each of these. So with home, let's click into this and change the image right here. And I'm just going to change this to the main image that's on my website. So let's click on save. And now if I hover over this, you can see that's going to change to that image. Another important thing that we need to do is when adding new pages, we need to make sure this link URL is right. So in the example of home, this is fine already. This is just going to take them to the home page. So you can also change the title right here, what's going to show up. And I'm happy with that. Then about the hotel, as you can see, this is going to take them to about the hotel. Rooms, it's going to take them to the rooms area. And then you can change the image and title for each of these. If we want to add in a new item, for example, if I want to link the locations page, I'm going to click add. Let's call this our locations. Then we want to add an image. Just in this example, I'm not going to spend a load of time on this, so I'm just going to add this image. Make sure this looks good. Perfect. And then the final thing that we need to do is grab the correct page URL. So this is the our locations page. Once you are here, all we are going to do is simply copy this URL from the top. Then go back over to the editor, paste this in, and that is then going to take them over to our locations once they click on this. So let's try this out. Let's open this up, click our locations, and just like that, they are taken over to that page. So that is all working. We have the image in there as well. And then if we go back to the editor, what I would recommend is just taking all of this out. There's really no reason to have this. So what I like to do is just click on each of these elements, right click and delete, and just delete this entire section. You can have your social media here if you like I still think that looks pretty good. And then once again, you just click and add all of your social media into these different tabs. Importantly as well, on this menu, you will notice that this top section, the header, isn't specifically updated for this. So once again, we just want to go in, add in everything up here. So let's delete these, delete this, and awesome. Then we can click on update. And just like that, this page is now updated. So with that all done, the front end of your website should now be fully functional. You've edited this entire homepage. We have everything set up in the booking area. So we can go through, let's say the 9th to the 10th, just like this. And then we can go through and start booking these hotels. The final thing that we have to do on the website is just go into the back end and set up some payment providers and things like that so that people can actually book through your website. So to set this up and allow people to make payments on the website, all we need to do is back out to the main WordPress dashboard and then go back into the accommodation. So hover over accommodation and then click into settings. And this is going to take us over to the settings area. Then all we are going to do is go up to payment gateways here at the top. And right here, we can see all of the different options that we have. We have WooCommerce, Pay on Arrival, Direct Bank Transfer, PayPal, Stripe, Braintree, all of these different options. So the first one that we are going to set up is Stripe. This is the most important, and this is going to allow people to pay by card with either a Visa, a MasterCard, or an Amex. So all we are going to do is enable pay by card with Stripe. And then if you do not yet have a Stripe account, we need to go ahead and set up a Stripe account. So just head over to Stripe right here, and then you can create your Stripe account. All you will have to do is just enter in some information, and you will have your Stripe account. Once you have your account, there are some specific things we are looking for. So we are looking for the public key, secret key, and webhook secret. So first of all, let's find these API keys. The way that we do this is by going over to developers right here. And then on this menu, click on API keys. Then in here, we have this publishable key. So we just copy this and then we can paste this in on the website. Then we want to go back and reveal the secret key. Copy this and paste this in. And then for webhook secret, we can ignore this. So we just want to go down and click on Save Changes. And just like that, these changes are now saved. So we've now enabled this and connected up our Stripe account. So if we now go back and try to make a booking right here, you can see we can now pay with credit or debit card. And all we need to do is enter in the card number, the month and the year, and the CVC to make this payment. And then when people actually pay you, it's going to pop up in your Stripe account, and Stripe is the main payment processor for this. So we now have the main thing that we need, which is allowing people to pay via card. So let's go back, and there is a few other things that we can add. So if we go down to settings right here and back to payment gateways, we can also set up PayPal. So this is super simple. All we need to do is click enable PayPal and then enter in your PayPal business email. Once that is entered, we can click save changes. And those are the two main ones I would recommend to set up. What you can also do is allow people to pay on arrival. So obviously they don't pay anything when they book the room, and they would just pay in person when they turn up. So that is completely optional. But when we have all three of those settings turned on, people can go through, we can reserve. And then as you can see, we have three different options. We can either pay with cash on arrival, pay via PayPal, or pay via card. So just like that, you should now have your entire website built. We have this beautiful homepage. You know how to edit this menu and set this to how you want. We have these individual pages edited. We have all of the rooms set up. And most importantly, we can allow people to go through, book any room that they like, and then they can also choose if they want to pay in person, PayPal, or via Stripe. So that is my step-by-step tutorial on how you can build a hotel booking website. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.